Kia ora, this is Kia ora Oz. Welcome to the channel. I'm Darren, and this is the continuation of a lap that my late wife Selena and I started in June of 2023. After her passing, I decided to continue the journey solo, safe in the knowledge that she will always be a part of my journey. Follow along and find out what it's like to travel this vast continent solo. Ka kite. Kia ora Oz, kia ora whānau. Welcome to the next video. So I'm in Perth. I've been here a few days, or 2 days, 3 days. After returning from Bali, it took a couple of days to recover from the Bali trip. I think the first day I slept for 14 hours because I'd been on the go for 24. And yeah, so it's just been basically getting back into my routine and getting things sorted in the van, ready for the next section of my trips. So I did a few things around the van, a couple of things I've been meaning to try and get done for a while. So I put in a shelf, a collapsible shelf for the coffee machine at the end of the bench, give me a bit more bench space, so that worked out really well. And I put a couple of flag holders on the front of the caravan so that I don't have to keep undoing and doing up the gas bottles to hold my flags, so they're up in flag holders, make it easier. And I upgraded the TV that I had in the van from go. I've never really been happy with it. It's been troublesome, put it that way. So I upgraded it to a 32-inch, and that came as a package deal with a soundbar. So I mounted those in the van as well. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. So today I'm heading out of the airport caravan park where I'll be staying, is where I stored the van, and I'm going to Coogee Beach, believe it or not. And I'm there for 3 days. Not sure what I'm doing after that. I need to do some research later today and work all of that out. But Coogee Beach is over, obviously on the coast near Fremantle, so we'll have a look around that area and maybe get a run out to westaustralia. I'll see how we go. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to clean up, pack up and get out of here. Oh, sorry. Sam's fun fact. The name of the city Perth is taken from Perth in Scotland in honour of the Secretary of State for War and the Colonies and member for Perthshire in the British House of Commons, Sir George Murray. There you go. Alright. Get on the road. I've just been doing a bit of tiki-touring around with CJ. Had a look around Fremantle. And now we're at Kings Park just to have a quick look. Nice spot. and so Coogee Beach is the next suburb over from Fremantle, so I'm quite close to Fremantle. I'll go in and explore Fremantle today. So I've moved in, set up camp, and then I went on a bit of a tiki tour with a mate of mine, CJ, around Fremantle, just to get my bearings, and then we went up to Kings Park and had a look at Kings Park, overlooking the Swan River, and had a look at the War Memorial up there, so that was pretty cool as well. So today, I'm going to spend the day in Fremantle basically. And then I head out of here on Monday, start heading south. Okay, so some fun facts. On the 1st of June 1850, the first convicts arrived at Fremantle aboard Skindian. The 37 and last convict ship to dock at Fremantle was Hougoumont on the 10th of January 1868, which signalled the end of penal transportation to Australia. Among the 280 convicts on board were 62 Fenian military and political prisoners, members of the Irish Republican Brotherhood, 6 of whom managed to escape the convict establishment. In the Catalplia rescue of 1876. During this period, notorious South Sea pirate Bully Hayes lived in Fremantle with his fiancée Miss Scott, daughter of the Fremantle harbour master. There you go. Alright, so I'm going to clean up and head off for today.
So the first stop for the day was the Fremantle markets. A really nice little market, well worth visiting if you're in Fremantle. A whole lot of little stalls, some fresh food and arts and crafts, that sort of thing. I did manage to buy some coffee from a coffee stall there, and it was Jack Daniel's infused ground coffee, which I've subsequently had, and it's pretty good. So Fremantle market, it's worth a visit.
This is Fremantle prison. No longer used as a prison, just a tourist area.
This is the Anglican church within the prison. So because most of the prisoners were Church of England, they decided to build an Anglican church during the convict era. Because there was a number of political Irish prisoners of Catholic faith, they also built a Catholic church as a bit of an afterthought, not as elaborate as the Church of England, chapel, but nonetheless somewhere for the Catholics to go. This is one of the exercise yards, typically not during the convict area, but in the era where the prison was used up until the 90s. And then we had a look at solitary confinement, which was used obviously for prisoners that had done the wrong thing during the convict times.
Perth. I'm still at Coogee Beach, just next to Fremantle. So yesterday I had a look around Fremantle, went to Fremantle markets, bought a couple of things. I actually got a bloody, there's a coffee bean place there and they were selling all sorts of different flavoured coffee beans. And I bought a bag of Jack Daniels. I had it ground up there and then I had that for breakfast this morning. Quite nice. Yeah, and then I went and had a look at Fremantle Prison and went down to the fisherman boat wharf for some lunch, which was nice. And then I came back and had a nap. Okay, so Sam's fun fact. So the Fremantle prison, there were only 7 prisoners who ever escaped from Fremantle prison and weren't either recaptured or killed. And those 7 were all Irishmen, and they were part of the Fenian political prisoners from the UK that were transported in the 1800s, and they were among the last convicts on a convict ship that were transported out of the UK. So the very last ship that left with prisoners held some of these Irish political prisoners. So one of them escaped. His name was, I'll find it somewhere, John Boyle O'Reilly. He escaped, and the only way you could escape in those days is by having a ship waiting for you, basically, because you couldn't escape inland, you'd die, or you couldn't go north or south because you'd die in the desert. And so, yeah, he escaped, boarded a whaling boat that took him to a ship offshore, and he sailed away. Ended up on a US ship because the US had no love for the Brits at that time, and ended up on a US ship and lived in Boston. Anyway, over a number of years, he raised enough money to buy a boat, and with the help of Irish immigrants, obviously in Boston, that had come over after the potato famine. And so, with the help of publicity in Boston through a journalist over there, talking about the conditions these guys were living in, this boat sailed for Fremantle, and it sailed so the name of the boat was the Catalpa, and it sailed into international waters just off Rockingham. And so on April 17th, 1876 at 8:30 a.m, Wilson and 5 other, or 6 of these friendly ants working outside the prison walls boarded a whaleboat that O'Reilly had dispatched and were taken aboard the Catalpa and escaped to New York. So they're the only 7 prisoners that ever escaped from Fremantle prison and not be recaptured. Fremantle prison was built by convicts and was used right up until 1991. So yeah, it was pretty horrendous in there. Anyway, we went and had a look at that, and that was all good. All right, so I'm going to clean up and head out for the day.
First up for the day, I visited the Shipwreck Museum. So this was me inside the Shipwreck Museum in Fremantle. Well worth a visit. Some really interesting stuff in that museum.
Beach by the roundhouse, not far from the fishing boat harbour.
So the roundhouse was the first lockup in colonial Perth or Fremantle, and was used for locking up prisoners prior to the Fremantle prison being built. After the prison was built, it became an additional lot of cells for the police to lock people up temporarily, and it's where the chief constable lived, or the chief of police lived.
Travel day today, so I'm leaving Perth and I'm starting to head further south to Bunbury, so it's only a couple of hours down the road. Hopefully I get into a low-cost camp that you can't book, so we'll get down there and see if we can get in. We should be able to on a Monday, you would think, but nevertheless we will see. Yeah, so heading down to Bunbury, so we'll be ending this video today. We're ending this video here. So that's my short time in Perth, and mostly spent in Fremantle / Coogee Beach. A really nice spot here at Coogee Beach. If you're in Perth, this is a really nice spot to stay. Good park, nice facilities, and just, you know, walking distance to the beach. So yeah, so we'll end the video here, so if you haven't done so, don't forget, subscribe, give us a like, drop any comments below, and we'll attempt to answer them, yeah. So before we go, Sam's fun fact, the market that I went to the other day in Fremantle was actually a very old market, and one of the first markets opened in WA. The Fremantle markets opened in 1897, forming a precinct providing handcrafts, specialty foods, dining halls, and fish and vegetable markets. The then Premier Sir John Forrest laid the foundation stone for the markets on Saturday the 6th of November 1897. It has over 150 stalls, and it's housed in a Victoria era building which was listed by the National Trust of Australia and the State's Heritage Council in 1980. There you go, I didn't realise it was that old when I was walking through there. Alright, so yeah, the next video will be pretty much all about Western Australia.